Hi, I'm Hemel, a qualified business analyst, project manager, and program manager who has over 18 years of work experience as well as a master's in information systems. Today, I'm going to take you through the top personal finance hacks in the UK for 2026. Let me start with a question. If I gave you an extra 3,000 to 5,000 a year, would that change your life even a little bit? Because most UK households in 2026 have mortgages that are going up, childcare costs that are rising, food prices are still painful. And that's the kind of money that can make a difference between stress and a bit of breathing space. I'm going to take you through practical, proven strategies that real families are using right now to save money, reduce stress, and build long term wealth. Let's start with the foundation that everything depends on, and that's budgeting. Budgeting doesn't fail because people are bad with money, it fails because most budgets are far too strict. There's different rules that people have. One is the 50-30-20 rule. The one I'm going to explain here, which is closer to what I do, is the 65-20-15 rule, because I feel it reflects the UK living costs as we stand right now. So, how does the 65-20 and 15 rule work? Well, the 65% is on essentials. It's things like mortgage or rent, council tax, utilities, groceries, commuting, things that you must spend money on. Then there's 20% on wants, so things like eating out and entertainment and holidays and hobbies. And then there's 15%, which is on a mixture of debt reduction as well as savings and investing. Let me try and give you a real life example. So if someone was to earn 3,000 net per month, so that's post tax, they could be spending 1,950 on essentials, that equates to 65%. £600 on wants, so that's eating out and entertainment, and then 15% on reducing their debt or on savings, which equates to £450. So 1,950 on essentials, 600 on wants, and 450 on savings and debt. You know what? This feels really, really achievable and not restrictive. There are tools that help with things like this. So there's Monzo, there's Starling, there's Plum, and they'll be able to automatically categorize your spending. And this is not about perfecting the 65, 20, and 15, it's making you aware of what you are spending your money on. If we relied on willpower alone, none of us would need to have budgets. So instead, because we can't rely on willpower, we should try and automate as much as possible. Here's what financially stable people do differently. Savings leave their account on payday. Bills are paid via direct debit. And then they can only spend what is left. And this puts them in a really strong position. One couple that I worked with a few years ago saved 2,400 in a year just by setting a £200 standing order into their savings straight after payday. They didn't try harder, they just removed the decision and it was all automated. There's also apps that have roundup features such as Monzo and Starling, whereby let's say you were to spend £20 and 30 pence, then it would round up to £21, making that 70 pence additional, and 70% goes straight into the savings account. It just automates savings, and that just helps and grows throughout the month and through the year. This one is critical. The average UK credit card APR is 22.7%. That means if you're investing while carrying out loads of debt, you're just going to be struggling. The most important thing to do is to pay off the debt as quickly as possible. There's a couple of ways of doing this. One is moving all your debt to 0% balance transfers. That could be over a 10-month or 12 months, or sometimes even 20 or 30 months, which are interest free, which gives you more time to pay it off. The second one is paying the minimum on everything when it comes to debt. Really, really focus on the highest interest rate first, and then move down to the lower ones once you've paid off the higher ones first. Paying off 22% credit card is a guaranteed return that beats almost any investment. So go and pay off that credit card. Once you have paid off the debt, the next thing to do is save money. Now, there's a couple of ways of doing this. One that I've used previously is to use challenges. Now, sometimes people say saving money is boring. I want to spend it on X, spend it on Y. We can actually make money saving into a challenge or what we want to call a game. Here's a couple of examples that I've got here. So there's a 52-week challenge, which saves you around £1,378 by the end of the year. There's also the 1p incremental challenge, which saves £667 by the end of the year. And then, as I spoke about earlier, we also have roundups, which then help build what we call emergency funds or just a standard savings account. I've seen family use these to fund their Christmas holidays or even to buy presents at the end of the year over Christmas. So imagine having somewhere between £667 and £1,378 just by doing a money saving challenge. This is an incredible habit to have and something that will make you a lot more richer than you are today. You should also look at your benefits between what the government provide and what your employer provides. There are thousands of people who are losing out on benefits because they're not checking what is available to them. Last year, in September 2025, eligible working parents were able to get 30 hours of free childcare, which can save up to £6,900 per year per child. That's not a loophole, that's just a government policy. And if you add to that other areas such as salary sacrifice pensions or cycle to work schemes, childcare vouchers, and even council tax reductions, many households will qualify for things like this, but they just never apply. If you do nothing else this month, just go into each one of these and check your eligibility. Most financial stress comes from unplanned big spending. But here's a simple habit that just works. Every January, review your December spending. Look out for overspending categories. Also look out for potential credit card spends that you've done which are higher than you were expecting. And also look at the emotional purchase that you've done. Starting from January, start to apply what we call the 24-hour rule, whereby any non-essential purchases over £50, before you go ahead and buy it, take a step back, think about it for 24 hours, and then if you wish to still purchase it, you can do. This may save you quite a lot of money. What we've seen in the UK is up to 40% of purchases are impulse purchases, and they weren't planned. So this gives you the opportunity to have a think about it. Also, there's what we call seasonal sales, whereby there's either Christmas or Halloween or Valentine's, where people are purchasing specific things just in time. If they were to plan ahead, they might be able to get certain items cheaper. So now, if you've paid off your debt and you've got some savings, we should now look at investing. To help with the investing side, what you need to do is build an emergency fund. This is 3 to 6 months of expenses in an easy access savings account so you can access it whenever you need to, specifically for emergencies. Then we move into the investing side. The best way to invest in the UK without paying any additional tax is to use an ISA. The current ISA limit is 20,000 per year, so you can invest into either a stocks and shares ISA or a LISA or a cash ISA using that 20,000. And then what you should be doing next is looking at your pensions. You may have one, you may have multiple. Depends how you want to track them. If you want to keep them as they are, that's okay. If you want to consolidate them, then that's okay as well. I've been consolidating mine, so it's easier to track in a single location. And then comes the detailed investing. And this is where you need to be investing in platforms like Vanguard, AJ Bell, Trading 212, and keeping a very simple portfolio. My personal portfolio, which I will be going through in a different YouTube video, is focused on mainly index funds using the 20,000 ISA allowance. And then just to explain to you how this investing part works, You could invest £100 a month. So not a huge amount of money, but £100 a month over a 35-year period, and it could grow to over £500,000. Imagine that you're retiring and you have a cash pot of £500,000. And that's not because you're clever, but it's because you use something called compounding interest. UK consumers lose over £2.3 billion every year to fraud. So just watch out for fake QR codes that you might see on the street. Maybe you're getting texts from HMRC, but it's not really HMRC. There's also a lot of scams via email where they have links to make sure that you enter in your payment details for a product or a service that does not exist. From a hidden fee audit side, you should look through your bank account and see what there is that you're paying for either on a monthly or an annual basis that you probably shouldn't be. Review all your service subscriptions that you have, maybe on a monthly basis or every 3 months, and then if you need to cancel something, go ahead and cancel it. Check your bank account for any unknown charges that you may have because you want to know exactly what you're spending on. If you're not using the gym, go ahead and cancel that subscription. And then it's important to negotiate better deals. So, for example, if you do have a subscription and you know that one of your friends is getting it for half price, maybe you could call the same company up and get the same deal. So, there's someone that I did work with, and they did this right in front of me, and they ended up cancelling £80 a month worth of subscriptions. That's £960 a year, and that was 10 minutes of work. So 10 minutes saves them £960 a year. Go ahead and do this. In the modern age, all this banking that we have available is just a cheat code. We can use spaces to track our bills and our goals. We can use virtual cards to set up spending limits. We can use AI to spot bad habits early. Technology won't fix our bad habits, but if we use it correctly, we can make a decision as to what is something that's good versus what is bad spending. So, guys, overall, personal finance isn't about being perfect. It's about making slightly better decisions and making them consistently. If you found this video useful, then please like and subscribe, and feel free to comment plan, and I'll send you a free budgeting template. Your money should work for you, not against you. Thank you for listening.